Hello, everyone. Welcome to the University of Unlearning as we are unpacking and debunking a bunch of myths throughout the whole entire month of December. And today I have Ella here with us, and we are debunking the myth that lifting weights makes women bulky and manly. And we are so ready to talk about this topic today. I have Ella with me today. Ella, thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about you and your background and where you're joining us from.
Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Ella Caggiano. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I go to the school, University of Miami in Florida. I'm a NASM certified personal trainer and fitness coach on social media and virtually as well as in person in my area. And I am on the powerlifting team at school. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, so excited to have you for this topic today. Let's talk about this first. Powerlifter. Tell us about this and how long have you been powerlifting, and tell people like who listening who might have an idea of what powerlifting might look like, but tell us really what that is and what that means.
Yeah, so I growing up in high school, was never considered myself really a weightlifter. I competed in Spartan races pretty regularly. That was kind of my thing once I got into my sophomore, junior, senior year of high school. Going into college, I sort of wanted to sort of switch stuff up. So I joined the powerlifting team and I started training to lift some really heavy weights, really heavy weights. And so for those of you who aren't aware of what powerlifting is, basically you compete to train your squat, your bench press, and your deadlift to be the heaviest weight that you can possibly lift it. So for me, that's a very intense training schedule, constantly in the gym pushing weight. I'm constantly eating a lot, sleeping a lot, hydrating a lot. These things are all encompassing when it comes to powerlifting, just because it's very taxing on the body. And so you need to do a lot of other things to kind of make sure you're fueling your body properly, as well as giving yourself enough nutrients to actually make progress. But, you know, being a small 5'2", 120-pound girl in a primarily male-dominated gym, which is my college gym, people seem to laugh at the fact that they're like, oh, you're a power lifter. Like, you know, people have this perception of power lifters that they're these like massive guys, you know, who are like just slamming things around, you know, like Eddie Hall-esque. I don't know if you know who he
Yeah, and
is,
like
but
grunting and like a lot of
exactly.
and a lot of like
Right.
that face you can't control when you, that's what I think of, and I know a lot of people think of that too. So they probably
Totally.
look at you, this
Mhm.
like small, mighty powerhouse, just like, what girl, you be lifting
Yeah,
how heavy?
exactly.
And so
I get a lot
what
of that.
you get that a lot? And how do you feel when people say that? Do you just kind of get it a lot?
I mean, I think at first I used to be a little bit insecure to be in the weight room, just because, as in one of the only females in the weight room, most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, I'm one of two or three or the only girl in the gym. The thing is, at this point, I just do not care. I have my gym circle is, I'm close with them. I'm friends with the guys. I have assimilated into that culture, and I've actually earned my spot there, you know, like people know who I am, and I've developed kind of a friend basis with the people there and all of that. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, I am able to sort of see from another female's perspective why they would be hesitant to be in the weight room, because, you know, I have a self-confidence where I'm like, okay, you know, you can say what you want about me lifting weights. You know, you can have your own opinion. What, you're a power lifter? What? What is that? Like, what do you do? What does that even mean? Like, oh, what's your bench? That's always the first question guys ask. Oh, how much do you bench? Right? Like, I get it. Like,
How much you
guys,
bench, bro?
exactly. Like, that's exactly how they're like, right? And that's like the way guys are, that, or not all guys, but way guys can be. And so, you know, for me, I'm like, I shake that stuff off at this point. Like, I'm just confident and I'm proud of myself. And I love that I can pull heavy weight. And I think that that's cool. And whether guys think that's intimidating or not, I just don't care. Like, I really don't. But I think the thing is like, for other women, like, I could totally understand how that's intimidating. Guys like ask questions, guys judge you, guys ask you what you're lifting. Like, you know, I'm not saying that every female would experience that going into the gym, but I can understand, like, being a female in the gym can be extremely intimidating if you don't know what you're doing or you don't know like
Exactly. I was going
where
to
you're
say, well, it's
going.
like you said, you're already getting kind of this vibe or feel that a lot of people can sometimes experience and resonate with, but you be knowing your way around the gym. You like, you
Yeah,
can squat, you're lifting adding the weight to your squat rack, where you're at, where you're supposed to be, how much space you need, what weight you need, where it is,
right.
that your form is good. Like you have all that focus, but then like you said, there's still what do you bench, or like, even some, even real versus, it's like sometimes people aren't saying things, or they might not really be judging. They might not even give a crap about what you're doing. But then we have those tapes that can play in our heads too. Like you said, you're like, and now you can understand a woman going into the gym already feeling like, yeah, uncomfortable, not knowing, what you're doing in that space. And then, even now times are different because gyms and stuff aren't open. So then it's like, even, am I confident enough to do this on my own? How can, that
Yeah,
confidence issue and just knowing what you're supposed to be doing or should be or whatever in general can be really, very uncomfortable. And so
totally.
we already have these challenges to kind of navigate, and maybe some people picking at us or whatever as women in the weight room who know what we're doing and know kind of what our goal is for that day or whatever, let alone a woman. And I know you're doing coaching and personal training and stuff too, where a lot of women might come to you and just be like, yeah, I want to, I just like, I didn't know what to do or how. And I was nervous, and I went in, and everybody seemed to be knowing what they were doing, and they knew where their weights were. And they're asking me questions about what I bent. And I didn't even know what that meant. And I thought they were calling me a what, or whatever that might, and it's just, yeah, we really, in our own insecurities and our own kind of unpacking of this, we get to see like, oh yeah, that totally can resonate with how someone feels,
Yeah.
going in there. And then, I don't know if a lot of women say this to you too, but I hear this a lot as well. It's like, well, I don't want to lift weights because it's going to make me look manly and bulky, and I don't want to have muscles, or not even don't want to have muscles, but I don't want to be, like you said, that picture, that mental picture we might have of like a big, bulky female power lifter with like, the belt on and just like giant, massive biceps. And
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? We just have this idea of like, all of a sudden we're going to pick up something and we're just going to
Yeah.
grow. And, and while that, yeah, I guess is possible with relentless, dedication and day in and day out training, but that's really, really not the case. And
Yeah.
you're proof of that there too. I am too. I mean, we lift weights all the time. We're not by any means big, bulky, all the things, but why do you think women are afraid of that? Or what do you think about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess ever since you mentioned that, I realized I kind of got a little bit sidetracked in your first question about me being a power lifter, because, a lot of women do have this, not even just women, both and also men have an assumption about women who lift as a power lifter, that they have to be massive, right? Because a lot of people look at me and think, oh, you're a power lifter because I'm small. So it's shocking, and I mean, I don't think anyone would really describe me as a bulky person. And yet I'm lifting 292 pounds off the ground, and I'm 120 pounds. I can lift heavy weight, and I eat a lot. I sleep a lot. I hydrate. I do the right things. And I can do that without getting bulky. I just feel as though there's this stigma around lifting weights because of the way that weights are portrayed to women. Because growing up and, through the 60s and the 70s, all through time, women were preached to do Pilates, to do yoga, to do Zumba, to lift these tiny little 5-pound weights and do this for like 20 minutes, and like that's a good workout. And like I think for a lot of women, their main goal, and this is what I've just noticed in my own audience and with many female influencers like yourself, their audiences is a main portion of their following is women wanting to lose weight and lose fat. And so I think that there is a negative correlation with the fact that people seem to think that if you want to lose fat, that you should just do cardio because weights will make you gain weight, in the sense that you'll get bigger, right? So you'll gain more muscle, therefore you'll get bigger. And then, people seem to think that you'll go from 0 to 100, you'll like bulk up in the matter of like months, which, that's just not scientifically possible. We can get into the way that hormones, kind of impact the body. But, just speaking from, a scientific perspective, we don't have as much testosterone as men. We can't grow like men can. So, you know, you see a guy can gain a certain amount of muscle in a year, whatever. Realistically, if you were to train every single day, you know, be very, very consistent, you would gain only a couple, 3 to 4 maybe pounds of muscle per year of consistent training. It's not really, unless you're a newbie, unless there's other exceptions, but if you're like a, you know, generally like a intermediate, have been working at this for a little bit, as a general rule, that's the amount that you're going to gain. And you know what, like people seem to think that, you know, you're going to blow up like a balloon, or you're going to start gaining massive amounts of muscle. And some women don't like the look of having a lot of muscle, which, you know, you can have your own body ideals. That's like totally fine. And you can look however you want to look. But I think that there's just a really, really bad negative stigma around lifting weights because of the way we were taught as women in society through literal generations, that we've always been taught that we should stay small and we should stay out of the weight room. Men have always dominated the weight room. Men have always been in the iron rooms, and they've always been pounding the weights. There's these, you know, you think of, you know, I know for myself, even before I even started going in the gym, you have this perception of the gym that they're these big guys slamming weights. It's loud, it's aggressive, you know, that's what the weight room looks like. And I'm just here to tell you, like, the weight room is what you want it to be. Like, it doesn't, sure, there's going to be people who are yelling and being D-bags, or there's going to be guys who are going to be hitting on you, and there's going to be gross men here and there. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be offensive, but like, that's just going to happen wherever
there's going to be like the typical stereotypical types in any situation. Anywhere. There's going to be the girl who's doing the cardio for hours and hours and hours on end. There might be like the creepy dude who's hogging the machine and barely working, and people talking. Like, there's going to be all of that for sure. But I love what you said. It's like, it is what you make it. What are you going there? What are your intentions? What's your plan? You know, are you going there, you know, for what reason, you know? And, you know, for me, lifting weights, oh my gosh, just made me feel so strong. I loved the workout that it gave me. I love just how it made me feel in my own body. I loved the progression I could do that was for me personally. It didn't matter like what anyone else was really doing. It was like, okay, did you lift heavier on your step ups? Did you, you know, for me, I remember practicing push-ups and being able to only do like 1 or 2 regular. And then I remember getting up to 10. And I remember I would hide in the abs room, which was like the darkest room of the gym that I used to train in when I was younger, in the corner practicing my push-ups. And I remember when I got to that first set of 10, like how great I felt. And so when it comes to lifting weights and training, I just love the ability to beat my yesterday. I love my ability to show up despite what might be going on. I love the ability to get into my physical body. You know, I like being, you know, working on mindset stuff and spirituality. And I love work, you know, on a lot of different areas, but I like working in my physical body, and I like showing me what I'm made of when I go in the gym and go in to do my workouts, which I do now in the garage. We have a really nice setup there too, you know? And yeah, I get it. Like, some women might be like, oh yeah, no one's really ever said this to me. In fact, oftentimes people are like, I really like your arms. I wish I had arms like you, you know, but sometimes they might not want the look of, you know, feeling, you know, more toned or muscular or whatever. And like, okay, I get that. But to your point, you know, it really can be whatever you make it to be. And so for me, that's really how I feel. I feel strong. I feel empowered. I feel like my physical body can do hard shit. I feel like I can, you know, help myself. I want to ask for help. And of course, I'm not trying to do all the things by myself, but I like feeling strong and that empowered feeling. I like knowing what good form feels like and being able to manipulate my body to lift heavier, do more, run more, whatever, you know. I like that no matter how I'm feeling, if I'm happy, if I'm sad, if I'm frustrated, if I'm excited, if anything, I really can come to that workout space, to those weights, and just kind of bring it all there, you know, no matter really what I'm feeling there. That really helps. And so, yeah, those are a lot of the reasons why I love working out and training. And yeah, to your point, you know, from a physiological perspective, you know, we don't have as much testosterone as men. We're not going to get big and bulky, you know, like that. That's just not really, you know, that's just not how it works there. But at the same point, you know, I have gotten a lot of comments from people on YouTube and on social media. I've been doing this for a really long time, putting myself out there, you know, in sports bras and shorts and whatever throughout since I was like 17 up until now. Yeah. So like, I'd be lying if I said that people didn't want to make their comments about me, what I look like and all those things. And a lot of what I get is because I have a very straight body. I don't have I'm not curvy in terms of straight on, if you will. I do my squats. I would love in this booty, but when you look straight on, I'm very straight. So a lot of people, yeah, you have such a boy body. You're so straight, why do you? And I'm like, okay, well, I lift weights because this is how it's going to feel, but we can't ever train, our way into a new body or new genetics. I'll never have this hourglass figure. That's just not my body. That's not how it works. But when I lift weights, I feel stronger. I feel good in my clothes. I feel good in my skin. I feel like I'm able to beat yesterday. I've met some incredible people in the gym, male and female. I love kind of that environment and that spirit of taking care of ourselves and pushing our physical limits. And yeah, so it comes with both, yeah, maybe some people think I look too manly, or when I say myth, lifting weights doesn't make you manly or bulky, someone might be looking and be like, well, you're manly and bulky. I don't know, come at me. What are you going to do? But yeah, so with that being said, people are still going to talk regardless. They're still going to have their opinions and stuff that they want to throw out regardless. But yeah. I feel like the benefits to the longevity of our body and our muscular skeletal system, and, everything's pulling on us, gravity's hanging, when we lift weights, we're lifting things up and tightening things up. And I just feel like that outweighs, any feeling that I might be manly or too anything for whoever,
Totally.
And so I want to inspire more women to lift weights, and you don't have to be obviously a power lifter, but not being afraid of, navigating the gym or lifting weights, or even, ordering some, weights and having some equipment at home for your home workouts, and exploring what that means to progress with at home training and things like that. It can be really awesome to see what our physical bodies are capable of. Really awesome.
I completely agree with that. And I really love that. And I think one thing that I want to highlight that you said is that, you can get in the gym, but you don't have to be a power lifter. And so I think that that's really important to highlight because, I think a lot of people have this assumption that if you're going to go and you're going to lift weights, you have to be something, you have to do it all hard at, you have to go hard and you got to go all out and you have to be something that you're not, or if you're going to be, some people do see me as having too much muscle. Trust me, I do not care. But, there's some people who think they look at me or they look at any other female who has a lot of muscle and they think, oh, I want to work out, but I don't want to look like that. Or they'll even look at men and they'll say, oh, I want to work out, but I don't want to look like a man. I don't want to look like him, I want to look like feminine. And I just think this is, it's not a one day you're this, one day you're this. For me, I'm proud of my muscles. My muscles have taken me 5 years to build. So I'm proud of the way that my body is. And more than just the physique, I just came off a powerlifting competition. And I, for the first time in a very long time, was focused solely on performance. I had no physique goals whatsoever and came out of it being the strongest I had ever lifted in my whole life. And so I think that it's really important to just keep in mind that, you're your own best project, right? My favorite quote is by Matt Frazier, fittest man on earth, CrossFit athlete. He says, do today what others aren't willing to do tomorrow what others can't. And I think that really does embody, what we're talking about in terms of empowering women to get into the gym. If you want a better quality of life, if you want to feel better in your skin, if you really want to get into the gym, but you're too scared, there's no time like the present. The present's the second best time to do it. Yesterday was the first best time, right? You want to just get in. It's one of those things where it's like riding a bike. You have to just show up every day, and eventually you're going to realize that this is so much more than just getting too bulky. Lifting weights is about empowerment. It is about strong mental health. It's about a strong body. It's about realizing and being thankful for all the wonderful, amazing things that your body can do for you. Because at the end of the day, it's sad to see me, I walk into the gym and it's disheartening to see maybe one other girl in the gym. And for that one other girl, every single time I go up and I talk to her, every single time, because I know she's a badass and she's killing it because she's there when other girls haven't been there yet. And that doesn't make them those other girls any less worthy or less capable of doing it, but she showed up. And I want all of the women listening to this to show up too, because it's just one of those things where you just have to practice being comfortable. And if you get to a point where you have enough muscle, great. Go into a maintenance period, learn how to do that, hire a coach, figure out a way to, keep that muscle where it's at. You don't have to constantly grow. I know for me, I have not been gaining consistent muscle for the last 5 years. It's gone up, it's gone down. I've been in maintenance. I've lost muscle due to surgery. Like a million and one things have happened along the way where, just because I started lifting weights five years ago doesn't mean that I'm like have like 20 million more pounds on my body of muscle. Like you can manipulate when you make progress, when you don't. And I think a lot of women are scared of the scale going up. And I think that does deter a lot of women from getting in the weight room because muscle does weigh more than fat. And so, getting comfortable stepping on the scale and seeing that weight going up and knowing that you're making muscular progress can be a powerful thing. It doesn't need to be a negative connotation. Scale going up should not. We need to ditch this whole idea of women need to be in smaller bodies. Women need to be in lighter bodies. Someone came up to me in the gym a couple days ago saying, because I was saying how I was competing in a powerlifting meet. He was like, oh, like that's so amazing. Like that's so cool. What do you weigh? Like 95, 105 pounds. And it's just like, it's laughable because like, people don't understand that okay, I weigh a little bit more. I'm 120 because I'm dense. I have muscle, but that doesn't mean that I have that shouldn't be a negative thing. A higher number on the scale shouldn't be associated with negative connotations like it is. People don't know how much a body weighs. I just thought it was hilarious because this guy literally thought I was 25 pounds lighter just because I'm small, but it's because I'm fit. It's because I have muscle on my body. It's, it's just it's funny to realize the scale going up on this, the number going up on the scale isn't a bad thing. I think I look good. I have confidence in my body. I feel happy in my body. If the scale went up 5 pounds, I would still be happy in my body. I would still love my body. And I think it's really important for women to get comfortable with the fact that bodies change. Bodies should change. And if you're not doing something to make progress, that's totally fine. But you have to really put, what are your priorities? Do you want to gain more muscle? Do you want to lose fat? How are you going to go about this? And are you afraid of the fact that maybe if you want to build muscle, yeah, the number on the scale is going to go up. Are you willing to get over that fear so that you can, in the end of the day, be happier in your own skin? What are you willing to risk? What are you willing to try? Because I think that, women need to just get out of their own heads and break the stigma of women. I'm done with the whole female only gym. I think that's a great useful tool. I think that shouldn't need to be a thing. I don't think women should need a separate place because men make them feel insecure for being in the gym. I don't think that it's, I think women as a whole, we need to bind together and we need to get in the gym together because I don't like seeing this male dominated culture because weights doesn't make you bulky. Weights is way more than that. It's strength, it's power, it's empowerment, it's community, it's love, it's energy. That's what lifting weights is. It's so much more than the stigma that is surrounding women in the gym.
I love that. I love that. And as women, yeah, like you said, let's call each other to go to the gym, to be in that space, or
right.
even Zoom virtual workouts because you have weight stuff at your house. And then also, I love what you said. Well, I love what you said too about how you're in the gym. If there's one other girl, you're there. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, because either she's showing up or maybe she's a little bit nervous, and that was her push to go. And she's like, oh crap, there's only one other woman here. So also making that environment more inviting and more exciting for other women too, whether there's new women joining our virtual classes or new women joining the gym or new women in whatever, fitness groups and stuff we're in, to make sure that we're encouraging and inviting and empowering too, in the way that we've felt so encouraged and empowered through weightlifting and through strength gains and things like that in the gym there. Yeah. So yes, I love all of it. And yeah, we're not built the same way as men. So it's not the same there. And it's all about, like you said, getting past some of the, those beliefs that we have about that. And one thing thing I know too, and I know that Ella, you're 19, I'm 32, but the way I trained at 19 is very different than I did in my mid to late 20s and now different into my 30s. And so as you continue to grow and have those tools and evolve, you kind of reinvent, what kind of training looks and feels like, what your body needs. As our hormones change, our bodies change. We might get to a certain place where we're like in maintenance. So we want to explore different things. Or I've had certain periods of injury where I've noticed I kind of did a little bit too much. I'm feeling something in my knee here, going back into some rehabilitation exercises and incorporating those in. So just kind of like seeing it more as like a dance than like a 30-day fix or a quick thing or whatever is super important. Yes, such a lifestyle there. Ella, thank you so much for being here and for this awesome conversation. As always, let everybody know where they can find you and connect with you on social media.
This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. I really think people are going to get value out of hearing this. So you can find me at Ella Cagg Fitness, Ella Cagg Fitness on Instagram, on Facebook. That's also the name of my website, www.ellacaggfitness.com. And thank you again so much for having me. This was absolutely awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, babe. All right. Thank you guys for watching and have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Bye.